Hello and welcome back to TriggerSmart. Something caught my attention, and I was thinking about it, and then one of you sent me a very interesting document. So let's talk about the drones at UVU. Could a drone have prevented Charlie Kirk from getting assassinated? Possibly, because they would have seen someone on the roof. They even could have seen him getting on the roof before he took a shot. They could have had, theoretically, plenty of time to pull Charlie down. They don't necessarily have to stop the shooter. They could just say, oh, someone's on the roof, get Charlie out of there. Boom, they're gone, right? So that could have saved his life for sure. Now, this new document that I'm seeing, if it is correct, and if it is true, which it appears to be, it is from uvu.edu, from their policies. This is their official drone policy. But first, I want to remind you what Brian Harpole was saying about the drones and why they didn't use them.
There are risks. It's a risk assessment when we come in. That's why we get there. That's why we start doing the advance so early. We walk it, we build it ourselves.
They walk it, they build it themselves, they get there early. Now, from what he said, I believe it was the 24th of the month previous, so they had at least 2 weeks.
And so initially, I spent thousands of dollars on drones last year and got the guy's license. But
that's a flex.
If the area lies in the Provo, Utah airspace, I can't fly it.
He's saying if it's in Provo, Utah airspace, he cannot fly for whatever reason, okay?
That's a 107B. We can't break the rules, right? And then you had secondary restrictions, probably due to heavy foot traffic for the school. But I can't go in and break the rules. There's laws for a reason. And so now the school could have flown drones, the PD, but they didn't have them.
So they're saying the school and the PD did not have drones,
right? But Orem PD has a drone unit active.
So he just said they don't have drones. Now he's saying they do have drones.
Professional. And that police department, I will tell you right now, is awesome. They get it. They were there. They helped both on the soft side and the hard side. And so I started asking questions like, do you guys have a drone unit? Yeah, good. Do you have an MOU or a mutual aid agreement with the school? And they're like, yeah. I said, did they call you and ask for assistance? No.
Did he call them and ask for assistance? No. He could have called just like the PD could have called. There's no reason he should have other people doing the work he gets paid to do.
I'm like, why wouldn't you call? We didn't get asked. And then so table the drones, which would have been awesome. Absolutely. I believe in them, but I can't break the law to do it.
So he can't break the law, but UVU and the PD apparently can fly there. So I don't know what special permission they would have different than anyone else. But when you get your Part 107, you go through the same things as everyone else. The drone has to be legal. You have to know how to fly it legally. You have to have your license. You have to have the drone licensed. And then you can't fly in certain areas, and you can get permission to fly in certain areas.
The drones would have been awesome, but I can't break the law. They could have used them. They chose not to.
And the rooftops were supposed to be covered from the police drones.
PD said, I got you covered.
They said, I got you covered. He did not verify.
Got you covered. It'd be great if that chief of police would have put that fucking drone up.
We'd have had it. Or I'd have flown that drone up his ass if we could have had one.
And you have 3,000 other threats that you're looking at. The rooftops supposedly being covered by the police. Maybe it would have been a good idea to confirm that the police had the drones.
There you go. So now Sean Ryan said it, and he's trying to be polite. He has the guest there. He doesn't want to have a big confrontation with the guest. But you have two CIA guys here talking to each other, basically trying to clear the security team's name based on what I've seen. This was less of an interview and more of a let's clear the name of the security team is what I get from this. But he says it. It would have been good to verify yourself. Now, he's saying it nicely. I feel like it was a major ball dropped, and that's why Charlie's gone.
But, you are talking to the chief of police. You would think that he would have the fucking drones up.
Okay, so basically he's saying UVU dropped the ball, the police dropped the ball. He couldn't get permission, or he didn't want to break the law. Now, nowhere in this did he say he actually tried to get permission for them to fly drones. I didn't hear him say that anywhere. So now let's look at the actual policy. All right, so now we are over here at policy.uvu.edu. And if you go to uvu.edu, you'll see this is Utah Valley University. So we're on the policy subdomain. All right, so we look in here. We have Utah Valley University policies and procedures. This is for unmanned aircrafts, right? Drones. And this was created back in 2018. So there's been plenty of time for this to be established and be used there. Now, if it's just the latest one, I don't know. There could be another one after this. So if someone else has a newer one, I'd love to see it. But according to this, I'm going to summarize it. But this shows everything you need to know. Who can do it, how to do it, what the penalties are if you don't do it correctly, and how to go about it, right? This has everything. So now let's look at a summary of this. So I put in this exact document, drone authorization requirements, and then I said they had 2 weeks to actually do this. Is that enough? Whether Charlie Kirk's security team could have legally flown a drone over UVU rooftops. UVU strictly prohibits any unauthorized drone flights on university property. However, authorized operation is allowed if the operator completes UVU's required approval process. Here's the process. Submit a request of authorization to UVU risk management. Provide a certificate of insurance. Consult with the safety coordinator to verify FAA compliance. Possess FAA credentials. Part 107 license. He said they all had licenses. Receive a signed UVU flight authorization document and notify UVU police before flight. These are all things that they could have done. The question is, did they do it? Did they actually submit a request to fly drones there? Now, he said they're super thorough. They go there early. They get on the ground. They build stuff themselves. Did they take the time to build a request of authorization for a drone? Operators must also register the drone. That's kind of default if you have a drone. Follow federal regulations and ensure safety and privacy. Yes. So that would be easy. So it says, yes, a private security team could legally obtain permission to fly a drone over the rooftops, but only if they completed the full authorization process in advance. So I was thinking, well, how much in advance, right? How far in advance does this have to happen? So whether 2 weeks would have been enough time for the security team. Nothing in the policy gives a minimum time requirement, but here's some like justifications, right? Here's like some rough definitions of times that it could possibly take. Submit a request for authorization, up to 48 hours. Certificate of insurance showing that, maybe 3 days. FAA requirements. If already Part 107 certified, it's immediate. Okay? Now, if there's any special waivers, which is pretty rare for this kind of situation, that could possibly cause delays, but it's saying immediate to several days. Would several days be more than 2 weeks? I don't know, but he didn't say anything about even trying to get any of this stuff. Risk management review, up to 7 days. So the conclusion, yes, 2 weeks is a fully realistic and generally sufficient time frame to obtain UVU drone authorization. This assumes the team already had Part 107, which Brian clearly said they did. Insurance paperwork was ready. It would have to be for his business and the way he operates. The request was submitted promptly. I don't know. Was the request submitted at all is the question. And no complex FAA waivers. So according to UVU policy 705, drone operations on campus are strictly prohibited without prior authorization and require a multi-step process involving all these different things. Okay. Given the structure of these requirements, it says competent security team with proper documentation could realistically complete the process in 2 weeks, as none of the policy steps inherently require long lead times. So that brings us to the big question. Did they officially request to get permission to fly their drones at UVU using this process? Now, if they were thorough, if they build everything themselves and they're on the ground early, a little bit more than 2 weeks early, they would have had plenty of time to ask how they can get a drone in there, their drone in there, and get this permission according to this documentation. Now, if there's something different, if you know something, if you're at UVU or you're a police officer out there or something, let me know if this is false, if this document doesn't apply in that situation. But as it sits right now with this, it looks like they could have, but they didn't. So I really want to know, did they actually do that? Now, maybe a FOIA request or something would tell us if they applied to actually get drone permission. But as it sits right now, it sounds like he was just looking to the police department and UVU to do everything for him. Seems a little strange to me. But as always, put your comments down below. I'd love to know what you think. Like, subscribe, and share this around. And if you enjoy the channel and you want to support it, look down in the description. You can find affiliate links, merch, and donations. And as always, I'll see you on the next one.